last unit for this course, and we're going to talk about one of the most important but probably the most boring topic, and that's risk management and types of insurance. So we're going to start with just talking about the basics. Insurance is a method for spreading individual risk among a large group of people to help pay for losses. And it sounds very technical, but what it's basically saying is, if you're going to take a risk, meaning there's a chance that something could go wrong, insurance is a way to cover you in case something does, in fact, go wrong. For example, if you're going to go skydiving, most of us realize that skydiving has been done for years and that it is a fairly safe thing to do. There's a lot of security measures put in place. You obviously have a coach, a parachute, and great conditions. They obviously won't let you skydive if it's too windy or the weather would make it too dangerous. But there's still a risk. So the skydiving company buys insurance. In case something does go wrong, the insurance will help pay for the loss. An insurable risk, next term down, is a risk that's faced by a large number of people and for which the amount of loss can be predicted. So things like driving in a car and getting into a car accident. That risk is faced by a large number of people in this country, and they can somewhat, in the insurance industry, calculate how much car accidents are going to cost depending on the amount of damage. And that is why car accidents, or just driving a car in general, is considered an insurable risk. The last risk term on this particular slide is liability risk, and this is the chance of loss that may occur when your mistakes or your actions result in injuries to others or damages to their property. And the examples of liability and risk include accidentally causing injury or damage to others or their property while driving a car. So if you, say, hit a house or hit another car, you're causing damage or injury to other person's property. Or something like a person falling down the stairs of your home because your front steps may be crumbling or they're not that smooth and they trip and fall and break an arm. Those are examples of a liability risk. It's the chance that something could happen because of your bad steps, and the result is an injury to someone other than yourself on that property. Please make sure that you have these three orange terms in your definitions. Spreading risk is why we buy insurance. So you're joining with a group of people, and together you're sharing risk with them by purchasing a written insurance contract called a policy. So in your definition, you are going to write policy. It's purchasing a written insurance contract. So you're going to use policy, and then you're going to start your definition right here. Purchasing a written insurance contract. Policy is a contract that says that you are going to pay a premium each month, and in return, the insurance company is going to agree to help you with some of your risk. So a premium is a monthly fee in which the insurance company agrees to help with some of the risk. It's the monthly fee that you pay for the insurance company to agree to help with some of the risk. It's another bill, so to speak. So when we set up our budgets and we talked about how much is rent going to cost and how much are you going to pay for your house and how much are you going to pay monthly for your car and how much are you going to pay for your phone bill, the other thing that you really have to be aware of is that you have to add a premium or a monthly bill for insurance into that list. So risk management goes like this. You're faced with a risk. Okay, skydiving, definitely a risk. You identify all the things that could go wrong. By assessing that, you decide, okay, what could I break? What could I hurt? If I do hurt something, will I lose my job if I can't go to work? And then you figure out a way to control the risk. Okay, I'm going to make sure I have a good coach when I jump out of this plane. I'm going to make sure that I go to all the classes and listen to all the different directions that they give. And then review controls, meaning what is it that I can handle? I'm sorry that menu keeps popping up. And what is it that I can't handle? For example, if the weather is bad there's nothing I could do about it, so I shouldn't jump out of the plane that day. So there is a risk management process that people do go through before they take particular risks. Reducing insurance costs is a very easy thing to do. So like I said, each month you're going to pay a premium. There's also something in the insurance world called a deductible, and that is a specified amount of a loss that you must pay before your insurance money kicks in. So generally, if you have a very high deductible, that means you're probably paying a very low premium each month. In the picture below, you'll see what I mean. Let's just say that this is my car, and I got into an accident. The person at the auto mechanic place tells me that the damage is about $5,000 in total to get everything fixed. I have a $500 deductible, meaning that before the insurance money kicks in, the $4,500, I have to put in $500 of my own money. That's my deductible. So I pay $500 and the insurance company pays $4,500. It's not that bad to pay $500. That's a pretty low deductible, and it's pretty helpful that if I pay that deductible, the insurance company will pay the rest. So the deductible is the specified amount of a loss that you must pay before insurance kicks in. However, if I have a very low deductible, that probably means I'm paying a higher premium, meaning I'm putting more money into the insurance company each month. Definitely not $500 worth, but I would have a high premium because my deductible is actually pretty low in that example. Other options if I want to reduce things like a premium, other than paying a high deductible, so again, a high premium would mean low deductible, low premium means a high deductible. If I want to reduce the cost per month, I could look for discounts and do some comparison shopping. I could buy more than one type of insurance from the same company, and usually that results in a lower cost. We're going to watch a quick Progressive video because they are exactly stating what we're talking about to lower costs.
Hello, this is where we do that bundling thing. Let's see what you got. RV, cover. Why would you pay for a hotel?
I never do.
Motorcycles? Check. ATV.
I ride those.
Do you?
No.
Boat. Ahoy, mateys.
House?
Hello, dear. Hello.
Hello.
Van with airbrushed fire-breathing dragons. Ah, check.
The more you bundle, the more you save. Now that's Progressive.
Bundling is a way of getting a cheaper rate. So if you chose to put your boat, your house, your car, and anything else you want vehicle-wise on the same company's plan, then it would cost you a lot less money. If you had Progressive for everything, Progressive would probably offer you a really low rate for the bundle. Allstate is another company that offers insurance, and you probably have seen Mayhem in many commercials. Mayhem gives you scenarios of things that could happen and reasons why you should get Allstate as your insurance company.
I'm a ref being chased out of town after the worst game of my career. Get one down and the whole stadium turns on you. And if you have cut rate insurance, it may not pay for all this. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
I'm the fourth string quarterback. But due to a pregame meal of all-you-can-eat calamari, now I'm the first string quarterback. But I'm also a transfer student, so I'm a little lost. And if you've got cut rate insurance, your jacked up rates might make you sick. I'm your hot water heater. You hardly know I exist. That's too bad. Because if my pressure relief valve gets stuck,
We hot water heaters can transform into rocket-propelled wrecking balls. And if you got the wrong home insurance coverage, it's your bank account that might explode. I'm a teenage girl. My BFF Becky texts and says she's kissed Johnny. Well, that's a problem because I like Johnny. Now I'm emotionally compromised and whoopsies. I'm all OMG. Becky's not even hot. I'm a hot babe out jogging. I'm not making sure this stays a 10.
Yes, some of the scenarios are a little silly, but the reason why they're able to have this silly commercial is because these situations have in fact happened. Car accidents have happened because something crazy ran out into the street. Teenagers have had emotional situations that cause them to drive erratically and run into things. In this commercial that I paused, he's pretending to be the hot babe that the guy goes to check out, and while he's looking at the babe, isn't looking at the road and runs into something. So there's a lot of scenarios that you might run into in life which may cause you to have to get insurance. And so we're going to talk about quickly a few different types other than just the basics. We want renters or homeowners insurance depending on if you rent or buy your home. A renter's policy is insurance that protects renters from property and liability risk. So it's going to protect your personal property like furniture, clothing, and it's always also going to cover you in terms of liability. So if someone gets injured in your apartment because of something. Now it doesn't cover the building itself. That's the owner's responsibility. So if there's a fire, your insurance doesn't have to pay for the building to be rebuilt, but it will cover the property that you lost during the fire. A homeowner's policy, again, is for when you buy a home. It's insurance that protects property owners from property and liability risks. So a homeowner's policy covers things that become pretty common losses: hazards, crimes, and liability. If we're talking about the renters and homeowners insurance coverage, it usually requires a household inventory, meaning you have to create a list of everything in that house. The replacement value is the cost of replacing an item regardless of its actual cash value. So if you have a, say, TV that's worth $6,000, it's going to give you some sort of replacement value if you were to buy that TV at that moment. So it's not the $6,000 or whatever the price tag is when you first bought it. It's what it's worth in that exact moment. That would be the replacement value, because the goal is to help you get back on your feet with what you had before, not to buy new and upgraded things to live a new life. Usually it covers your content for half the value of your home. So if your home is worth $200,000, your content coverage is $100,000, which basically means if something were to happen and your entire house burns down and you lose everything, the insurance company will cover you up to $100,000 because it's half the value of your home. The most complete homeowner's policy is called comprehensive. So when we talked about hazards and liabilities and other things that would be in need for the homeowner's policy, a hazard is like a fire, wind damage, water damage, or smoke damage, and all of these things could cause a loss. You want insurance to protect yourself from them. There's theft and vandalism coverage, which would be separate policies that you could upgrade your house for. Criminal activities such as robbery, burglary, arson, vandalism, and it covers your property both when you're home or property that's with you when you're away. So if you happen to be taking your car on a cross-country trip and something in your car is stolen or you have had it vandalized, that type of insurance will cover your car wherever you go. Lastly, we want to talk about a specific coverage called liability coverage, which we see a lot in home and car coverage. Liability coverage is coverage to protect against claims for bodily injury to another person or damage to another person's property. So it covers the cost of another person's losses for injuries at your house or on your property. Something called an attractive nuisance is a big reason for liability coverage. An attractive nuisance is a dangerous place, condition, or object that is particularly attractive to children. Things like swimming pools or trampolines draw kids in, but can be very dangerous. If you were to have an attractive nuisance on your property and a child got hurt for whatever reason, or an adult, I mean adults get on trampolines too, the liability coverage would be the way that you would have to, or the way that you would use that policy to help pay for medical costs for whoever did in fact get hurt. Liability coverage also covers acts occurring on your property for people who are guests, meaning you invited them, somebody falls down during a birthday party and hurts themselves, you can use your insurance to help pay for that situation, or an uninvited guest, which is presumed to have permission to be on your property. People like a door-to-door solicitor or salesman, a delivery person, someone who's coming to your house as a contractor. Those are all uninvited guests. If you have a contractor doing work on your house, he would be considered invited. But if he is walking around just giving estimates in the neighborhood, he would be considered uninvited. Either way, liability coverage would protect you in case something happened at your house to any of those types of people. We're going to pause the video here for section 1 of insurance, now that we've covered renters and buyers, because there's a lot of terms that I want you to remember to put into your list. We have uninvited guest on this page, 2, liability coverage and attractive nuisance on this page. We have replacement value and comprehensive as 2 on this page. Please ignore the word half. You obviously will not have to write that down in your vocabulary. A renter's policy and a homeowner's policy is important to know and have definitions of. And then we also talked about the word deductible, premium, what is an actual policy, and the 3 on this page here, insurance, insurable risk, and liability risk. Please make sure you have those all in your notes, and we will continue to section 2 next.